Hi, I'm Lazze and I'm teaching people in metal shaping, and I'm back here on the YouTube channel for more tips and tricks. And for this little quick video, I'm going to talk about two different techniques that we can use to create a motorcycle half tank. And it's important to explain that because it depends on if people have a small shrinker or if they have a deep shrinker, they can use different techniques. Of course, you can always work faster if you have a deeper throat shrinker or stretcher, but it can be done even with a small shrinker. It's just a little different technique, and I'm going to explain those two techniques for you. To create the side of a motorcycle tank like this, and the shape can be whatever you want, it's two different techniques that we can use. If you only have the small shrinker, you can shrink the edge here on the outer radius and wheel it up from the inside. So you can wheel it up from the inside and just control the edge with a small shrinker. It's a little more difficult to do it that way, to keep left and right side symmetrical and wheel it up the same amount in the same areas and same tracks, and it's much more complicated, and it takes much longer time too to do that and do left and right side symmetrical. Here on the straight part is just bent here, and we can bend that with a rubber band, so it's only in the front that needs to be shrinked and the back net needs to be shrinked, and then the rest we can wheel that up. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do is if you have a deep throat shrinker, you can shrink from the outside and create the shape much faster. So a half side for a motorcycle tank like this in aluminum or steel, that takes me about 8-9 minutes to create. And it doesn't matter if it's steel or aluminum. And to make it so quick and make left and right side symmetrical, that means that I can shrink from the outside and shrink hard on the edge, and less the further in I go to the red line here. And if I do that like a pie shape here like that and continue here, I can make it so much shorter on the sides, on the edge, and create this shape. And then I roll the sides here with a rubber band and do the same thing here with a rubber band, and then I shrink the back part of it. Shrink the back part of it here, and then when I have the shape, I can put the side, left and right sides side by side on the table and check so that it's the same height, and then I can do some adjustment with the shrinker or the stretcher, and then I can go to the wheel and just smooth it out. So that's a much faster way to do it, but I want you to know from this video that it's possible to use two different techniques to create panels. Depends on what tools you have. So that was that part, and here I have a sample, and I draw the line here, so that's how far I want to shrink it if I'm using the deep shrinker. And when I make something like that, you can see it's about 3/4 of an inch bigger than it ends up with in the end. And don't go bigger than that, because then you're going to have more problem to create the shape. So I would recommend 3/4 of an inch to maybe a 1/2 inch only, but not more than 3/4 of an inch. So that was the tips and tricks for this time, and it's something that can be very important and valuable for you to remember. And for more tips and tricks, go to my website www.lazzemetalshaping.com, and also check me on YouTube channel.